How's it going there, everybody? It is Ben, as always. So, we just had the one and only zone that Youth Encounter has. One and only. And it was at Virginia Beach. Now, I would right now just kind of explain to you what happened at this event, but this was a very, very special event. Other than just the fact that it's only high schoolers, no middle schoolers at all, is that it was the absolute final year that Youth Encounter was hosting this zone at the Cavalier. Final year. So we were the last captive free team to perform at this event, or at the event at the hotel. That's what I'm trying to say. At the hotel. So it was really cool to actually see that happen, and finally, for the first time ever, actually see the Cavalier that everyone has told me about for a long, long time. So the cool part of the zone is that they do this thing called journey teams. Now, this just started last year, I think. I don't know. But it did this year. And so, what journey teams are basically small groups to where every church that registers splits up their youth group. Maybe two to a group, maybe one to a group, however big they are. And then they all meet up 3 times throughout the weekend and we discuss either the midday devotional or just basic chit chat or pretty much talk on what the theme is. And my laptop won't stop shaking. Stop it. So, it was going down like that. And so I got group number one. Now, we introduced ourselves, we got to know everyone. I'm not the greatest when it came to names, but thankfully by Sunday I generally knew everyone in my group. So we finished the first journey team, and I got everyone together. I was like, we have one more thing to talk about before we split up. Now, we could go by the term, or we could be referred to as Journey Team 1, but that's dumb. I like nicknames, so I was like, we need to have a team name. And so no one was really coming up with anything, so I was like, alright, someone name a color. And the first color that was said was periwinkle. I still don't think that's a real color. Google says it is. I refuse to agree with that. But anyway, so we have periwinkle down. I was like, now someone say an animal. First one spread it out was panther. So our name was from then on the Periwinkle Panthers. Yeah. Periwinkle, apparently it's like a purple, blue, something, or rather, I don't know. It's a color, whatever. So, there was the small groups that now we're referred to as the Periwinkle Panthers, and it was awesome. Now, on Saturday, they still do treks, but they're referred to as pathways, and there's 3 of them. Now, normally when I do Chosen, I do it 3 times. Blue trek, yellow trek, green trek, all 3 time slots. This time I actually got a time slot off. It was great. So we did the presentation to the adults, and so this is the first time I had actually done it with a partner. Like normally I have help from another teammate, but normally I just have them write because I'm terrible at spelling. So this time I had Erica, our drummer, actually participating through like flipping off who was explaining what. And it went really well for both the adults and the kids, but I'll get to the kids in a second. So we did it to the adults, and it went really well. They were very responsive, and of course, whenever you're doing Chosen to some adults, one thing is said, and then it just sparks. Not like an argument, but more of like discussion on one specific topic. And whenever that happens, I don't really stop it because if I stop it and we run in low or we run short, then you get awkward silence. So I kind of let it run, and then if I hear something that's mentioned, or when Erica heard something that was mentioned, we like went pause. All right, now let's hit that one point real quick, since we would normally discuss it later. So it went great. Then we had our time off, which still awesome. Got to hang out on the beach and relax for a little bit. Now the kids come. Now Chosen's only opened once, so we had a very large group of youth that came to Chosen. It was cool. And so I do what I normally do with Chosen. I kind of explain that's a pretty serious topic, but I don't like lectures. I've had lectures in college. They're informative, but they're very not entertaining. And so I try to make it to where Chosen is very entertaining and it's fun, but the information is still getting through to their minds. And it was really fun with the high schoolers because they're at the age where they're like, yeah, we know what it is. Let's just get through it. And so we had some fun with it. Like we had a few little jokes here and there. Like I can't really explain it because it was one of those like you kind of have to be there jokes, but just it was good. It like people were laughing and then we were getting the information to them. And the best part about it was after the video, like some of the parts of the video where it's the second girl Lacey is in 8th grade and is asked to go to a party and she's like, yeah, I'm in 8th grade going into high school, might as well get my first party done and over with. And that happened. And so when we started discussion, I went, all right, she did not need to go to a party. She is in 8th grade, way too young to do that. And since they were high schoolers, they were like, yeah, when that happened, I pretty much like hit my forehead, just like, are you serious? And I was like, yes, that's the reaction you're supposed to have. And so it was really sweet. And so the trek went by really well. Had a good response to it. They were very open to listening to the information. And it was really powerful because there was youth in there, no names are going to be said, but he came up to me later and he was like, yeah, I'm really happy I went through that because it kind of opened my eyes to the signs of it because he believes that there was a person that he knew back in middle school that potentially had this going on, and it was kind of one of those things where it's like, see, now you know, and now you can share it with people that you know, so they also know. Trading information. Yeah, the more you know. All right, that was a little dumb, but oh well. So pathways are done. Chosen went super well. I'm very excited to actually do it to middle schoolers with the flipping back and forth with Erica because I hope it'll be amazing. Now, the rest of it is pretty much similar to everything. You got your worships, and our featured band this time were the Junker Georges. Never seen them live before. I just knew they existed, and they were great. Like with most of the features bands, you say, "Hey, it's insert band here," and then they get on stage and start playing. With these guys, they had a whole like entrance. Like they started in the back. They had all drums and like shakers and a bell. And they did that the whole time. Then they got up on stage and they started the song. Like it was an actual opening to a song. And it just got everyone pumped and it was fantastic. So the people in it's Todd Miller, who also is in Echelon, is also in Junker Georges, which is cool because I know him and it was fun to talk with him. Uh, don't you love it when you draw blanks in your head? Like you're like, I'm going to this point, and then the point just goes. Wee. Yeah. So the cool thing about the Junker Georges was that they had they had Todd as acoustic guitar, they had an electric guitarist, they had a bassist, they had a drummer, but then they also had a cellist, which was awesome because I used to play the cello, and it was really cool to actually see that being used in more of a contemporary style, which was really cool because the cello was really cool. So if you're young, you should do the cello. Just saying. Anyway, so that's the Junker Georges. The Junker Georges are cool. If you ever hang out with them, you should because they're cool. And then we also got to hang out with Packer Dave, which is, I believe, it's the third or second event in a row we've had with him. Second. And it was really cool because we've seen him before and we got to like catch up with him and chat with him and he does the same spiels, but I made an effort to tell him this is even though we've heard his talks multiple times, it doesn't lose like the meaning and the power behind what he's saying, which is really great in my opinion for when it comes to a speaker. Just about all of them do it. I just got to tell Packer because we saw him a lot. So now we're on to the last Journey team, which is Saturday night. And so during the middle day family time or not family time Journey team, the group was like, it is a gorgeous day outside. We should go outside for our third Journey team. And so I was like, all right, I'll make sure we're allowed to do that because it's night and I don't know if we're permitted. And I got permission. We were cool. So we got everything that we needed to do inside because we had an activity that involved paper and making a puzzle. And I didn't want them to get just the puzzle almost done and just go, whew, and then I'd be standing there all awkwardly just like, well, yeah, that was a thing. So we got that done. We got to go outside, which was great. And so we got outside, we did the rest of the discussion. It was great. I'm saying that a lot, it was great because we were outside, we got to enjoy the wonderful nature that God created. And so I made it a point to do a small solitude. And for those who don't know what solitude is, it's no electronics, no talking. Normally, if you have a book, you can read it, but there's no talking, there's no use of any electronics. It's you and God. And the best part about doing that was we're on a beach and the sky is clear, minus the lights from the hotels and stuff. But the sky is clear, so you got to sit there calmly and just think about whatever you wanted to think about with the waves in the background. And you could look at the stars if you wanted to. And it had a really good effect. A few people, as I was walking around to make sure I had my whole group around, like a few of them, it actually hit them hard. And so it just made me happy that I got the chance to do that. So I really hope that they sometimes, if they have free time, they're like, you know what, I'm just going to sit and talk with God. But who knows? That's all on them. And it was awesome because we actually came together as a journey team. And at the end, I was like, you guys want to do one last cheer? And instead of them going, yeah, okay, they were just like, yes, let's do it. And so since we're outside, we could scream at the top of our lungs, and it was great. So now we moved on to family time. And family time, I got invited by this one church at Chosen. And I got there to find out that this church had obtained about 6 of us, 7 of us, 7 guests. They had 4 captive freers. They had me, Erica, our drummer, Beth, our pianist, and Miriam, our bassist. And they also got 3 of the Junker Georges, their drummer, their bassist, and their electric guitarist. They had all of us in one family time, which was really cool. Like, because none of us knew what was going on. Like, none of us knew that the other ones had been invited, so that kind of made the surprise even better. So we go through family time. The family time's nice and everything. And then the leader asked all the guests, do you have any final words, like godly advice, or any advice that you would like to give them, or any words of encouragement? And so we start, and we get around, and of course, I'm at the end. And jokingly, the guest sitting next to me, Ryan, who was their drummer, just like, Ben, just at the end, just go, Amen! And so originally I did that, and they got here and I went Amen, and then something hit me of advice. So I went, actually, let's actually, I have something to tell you. And it was just a really small tidbit of advice, and all it was to breathe. And of course, it got some laughs into it from everyone, because, I mean, if you don't breathe, then, well, you're dead. Which is very true, and I did end with that comment. But the point that I was trying to make was, throughout your life and throughout your day-to-day activities, whether it be school, friends, or whatever, stress will happen. And you'll just feel like you're carrying this giant load on your back of just people either complaining to you, or secrets that you need to keep, or secrets that you choose to keep, or whatever it may be. You're carrying it on your back. And my advice was just to breathe, just to pause and take a deep breath in and exhale. And when you do that, you'll feel God taking some of that weight off your shoulders. And it's just an incredible feeling when you do that, because you're just resetting and you're like, all right, let's go at it, instead of carrying all this weight on your back. And that was generally what the advice was for. And then, Amen! And so that was the coolest, like, I'd never ever thought of that advice until, like, I said it, which was great. Now we're at the final Sunday night, great worship. We get everyone up there for the final song. And next thing I know, the Junker George's drummer, Ryan, is dismantling his drum kit. Now, when I say dismantling, I don't mean while Eric is playing it, he's taking it away from her. He's taking the cymbals and the snare drum, and he's just taking it over and getting a volunteer from the audience and giving him a drumstick, and he tells them bang like this, and they're banging on the cymbals, and next thing you know, you have a giant crowd of people all over the stage just praising God with one final song. And it was a fantastic ending. We had a slideshow of years past of Virginia Beach. It was just an absolute incredible weekend, and it was amazing, and I was so happy I got to experience it. So, thank you all very much for listening to my spiel. If you would like to sponsor me, because it does cost $10,000, or actually cost $100,000 per team, and they only request us to raise 10,000 of that 100,000 apiece. So if you would like to support me in what I'm doing, for those who are just joining, I'm the sound tech of Captive Free Band. We go around church to church, spreading the good news of God through music, through word, through just hanging out with youth groups. We do a whole bunch of stuff. We're in event season right now, which is like Virginia Beach is a zone or it's a giant event throughout the weekend, and we're soon heading into vacation Bible school season, and you'll all hear about that as it happens. I'll make sure to share about that. So again, thank you very much for listening. There'll be a link in the description if you would like to donate towards my cause. It's all right. Peace out.